Hey everybody, Len Stewart, the Pixel Plopper. Okay, so today I want to show how I make environments with the things that I've already built. In other um, in other videos that I've posted, I've actually shown how I archive uh, different things, how I make certain walls and floors and all kinds of stuff. So you can use that in this video. This video is really just going to show you how I put together an environment using all the stuff that I've made. Um, and I'll show you how I put lighting in it, all that kind of good stuff. So um, you can see that when I start a project, I have um, I usually make a room template file for myself in Photoshop. So here's my file. It just consists of the grid that I always use and just the basic outline of a room because I can make that bigger or whatever. And I just use these as guidelines for whatever I'm making. So here's my roof line, and of course this is basically my guide for just lining things up when I need to, which I've shown you in other videos. And a lot of this stuff in this video I feel like is going to be a review in some sort of respect because uh, I kind of showed you how to do a lot of this. But the one thing I really haven't shown you is putting together an actual room um, where you can really kind of take the stuff that you've already made, whether it's the right color for the environment or not. I mean, really, I could take anything here. So let's do something where you can really see how color will change things. Let's go with this for right now. And of course, I'm doing this on top of everything, so maybe I should get rid of my guides because I won't need them for this video. Um, Although you can use them, I'm not going to use them because I'm already going to have my. Oh, you know what? I got rid of the grid. Shouldn't have done that. There we go. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And I still have my grid here. So let's. So yeah, I basically start lining up tiles on the grid. So depending on how big you want it or whatever. I'm just going to make a big room. Not a really big room, because otherwise you'll miss what I'm doing here. Right, merge, copy. I could probably do this in an easier way, like I always say in all of my videos. All right. Okay. I guess this is a basic thing that we can go for, or go from here. Um, all right, so I'm gonna just leave one tile out here, and that will be our new design for this tile later. And you'll see what I mean. When I start adding in walls and stuff that don't really look great with this blue color, I'll probably end up changing this, which will allow me to um, cut out this tile and use it for other things when I design it specifically for this room. Because you'll notice over here I have a lot of different looking tiles that I've made with tons of other rooms. Alright, so let's see what kind of wall we want here. Let's go with, nah, let's go with this one here. Whoops, don't want to do that. I'm just duplicating these and using my my shift and directional tool rule, which is basically I can hold shift and move it to the next tile or whatever, and it still aligns to my grid. I went over that on older videos as well. We'll make the other wall. This is weird because Photoshop sometimes doesn't, there you go, good. Sometimes it doesn't align it to the grid when I flip it. Like it'll be like over one or something, and I just have to look to make sure it's in place. Oops. Alright, I got my one wall, I got my second wall. In walls, you'll see that some of this kind of like looks like it's all one wall when it really shouldn't be looking like that. So what I usually do is I take one of the walls and I'll darken it just a little bit with my hue and saturation. So I call it the -8 rule. So whatever wall that you're working on that's normal here, you can always make a slightly darker one, and I like using -8 because I think that looks pretty much the best on all of these walls that I can make that are kind of the same looking, you know. So now you have a slightly different wall. And now I'm going to merge these walls. If I ever wanted to separate them, it'd be easy enough too. I just take my my whatever tool this is called. Hold on. Why isn't this letting me do anything? There you go. Rectangular selection tool. So yeah, I take my rectangular selection tool, and I do that. And of course, I go in between the two to make sure it's lined up, and I can just copy, delete, paste, and I have my two separate walls again. I like keeping the two walls merged if I can, and I'll show you in just a bit what I mean, why I like doing that. All right, got all one wall. So here's my blue floor. Going back to this for a second, I'm going to adjust the color of this. Greenish floor. Okay. And then I'll probably adjust the color of this. Now you have something that is complementary to the floor. Now, if you ever wanted to archive the stuff that that you're doing here, I just really just do rectangular selection here, copy this, and of course go back over to my floors. And paste it in if I ever want to use it later. And you can delete this too when you're done. So there's your room. Next, think I'm going to show you how I do like furniture, and you know, I've made so many like different things for rooms. It's crazy. Um, I like starting with things that are um, slightly like against the wall or decorative in some way. So if I wanted to use like one of my carpets, I could do that. Okay, so I will make this maybe a, you know, in art color theory classes, they usually try to tell you that you need, you know, like three basic colors that you go by. And if you go by like a color wheel, you can pick like colors that look that kind of jive together in a certain way that might convey a certain feeling or whatever. So I'm going to go with orange and green and gray. I know it's a weird combination, but it's the first thing I kind of thought of when making this video. All right, so there's my carpet there. Another thing you might want to do too at this point is make yourself an entranceway to the room. So like in a lot of games, you'll see that you'll see the entranceway as a guide for the player to go to and come from when entering and exiting a room. So there's that. So you know the character here would. Oh, it's not on top. There we go. So you know, enter exit. You know, so there you go. If that wasn't clear enough, and plus, you know, if you ever wanted to move this, you just keep it as a separate layer and boom, 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 boom. I'll put it in the middle. It looks better. Okay. So what else am I going to add? Well, you know, in other rooms that I've made, I've done uh, things where like the light will be different in certain ways than others. You know what? I don't have. Let me use. Let's use this green light. I like this a lot. So you'll see what I did here too, which I'm going to show you in the thing that we're working on. Whoops. There we go. You know, also while doing this, make sure you label. I haven't been doing that, but you should. It's kind of important when you want to go back and try to find something specifically in an environment. So like there's, is this my carpet? Yeah. So carpet. I call them ints. Floor. My wall. Okay, there we go. So yeah, you want to keep things kind of labeled. It's a good idea. Or you can like, you know, you don't really have to keep things labeled if you know how to use like your right click and then you click on carpet because it's always there right when you hit when you right click on uh, a layer in your project. So here's the wall, of course, here's the carpet, here's the floor. So, you know, you can go and do that. You don't really even need to use layers in the classic sense of what I just told you, and like, you know, having to label things. But it's just a good idea because if you are making the graphics and you have a programmer who is going to go in here, go into Photoshop and try to separate this stuff for you, you're going to want to label this for them and not be an asshole. Because I tend to do that with my programmer, and he's like, "Come on, man, you got to label your stuff. I can't, you know." So, all right. Anyway, let's get back to making that light groove that I was showing you in that other project. So it can be any color as long as it's on its own layer. And of course, I'm just using shift and click to make the straight lines here that I need. Whoops. You can screw it up too, like I just did. Okay. Okay. And then I'm just going to paste my layer style. Whoops. You know what too is that I didn't take the color from here, so I'll do that too. I just hit on a Mac, it's Option click, so you can just pick the color off of the thing, like I just did. And of course, the layer style is just a glow. You can make the glow as cool looking as you want, but of course, like I've showed you in a lot of other videos when I deal with lighting, it's color dodge for me all the way. And you know, you can make the opacity whatever intensity you want, how big you want it. You don't want it that big, because that can kind of screw with other furniture you're going to put into this later. All right, so I'm happy with this. I'm going for it. I'm going to erase some in the middle here. And I think I'm going to add a little bit onto the end since I took from the middle. Okay, we got it. Now, if you want to stick with like a really high-end style and maybe do like 2 different color lights, which I can show you right now. We can get rid of this, paste it. Copy the layer style. Now, of course, I have 2 of the same thing here. You also want to make sure that if you have 2 of the colors, same light here, that you don't overlap in the color style because it kind of looks a little off and weird. All right, so we'll do an orange glow to complement our carpet. And we will adjust the color. I'm doing this a weird way, but you can do it any way that you want. There we are. This kind of looks a little strange because it's overlapping, so let's take away a little more. You might find that you need to do that. Alright, there we go. Now it's not overlapping. Okay. Alright, that's that so far. Now let's add some furniture. I don't know what you have in mind, but we can put in anything. We can put in a counter. I got a bunch of countertops. I even got like a case for jewelry. That's kind of cool. I can show you how I did that too if you want. So let's see. Let me. Okay. So basically, what I did here, I took. I made just an arbitrary shape, not aligned to my grid, for glass. So these are 3 separate parts. And the opacity has been turned down to 18%. So really all I did was I made a white square and I transformed it. So really let's do a white square. I'll do just make a white square, and I'll just show you real quick how I did this. And then of course I took the opacity down to 18. We can make it any opacity you want, but I liked how 18 looked. Is that 18? No, it's 10. It's 10. I did like how 10 looked. Okay. Then we'll just deselect, and we will do my favorite thing, transform skew. And of course, I'll move it a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And there we go. You have a panel for your glass. And then, you know, of course you can duplicate it and do it this way. You can make it like a little overlap, kind of like how I did in this one. Whatever. And the top is pretty much the same way. I make a square, and then I skew, and then I transform the skew so it lays flat, so it matches the grid. So I'll do that real quick for you. And this doesn't have to align to the grid if you don't really want it to. It's basically the size of the case that you want. So when you're skewing for the top, you always make sure that it is parallel to your grid, of course. And then you can do free transform. You know what? Let's do skew. Let's go back to skew again, because I do want to lay it down. There we go. And then, of course, you want to go over top of it like that. Okay. And then we'll go to free transform. Okay, that looks about right. And then, of course, you're going to want to clean it up, because after doing all that transforming, you may have screwed it up just a little. Alright, so there's that. Oh, let's deselect it because I want to clean that up. As much as possible, at least. And it doesn't have to be right on. You can slop it up just a little bit. Alright, and there's your glass box. For shines, like I have on the top here, or here, I'll show you how to do that too. That is just make a new layer, of course. And when you take your pencil tool and you can make it, let's make it 12%. Let's see how that looks. And of course you can do shines like this. Let's take away the grid, because the grid kind of makes it confusing. Yeah. Okay. Clean this up a little bit so the line's okay. There we go. And the shines, we can do more bold shines if we want. That's why I told you to do the opacity of the of the pencil tool. And then you can do kind of more stagnated lines if you want. Doesn't matter. Have fun with it. Make what you will. Whoops. Just make sure that they're lines, you know, or some kind of pattern. Whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to kind of reflect a shine, you know. You don't have to do it on the sides. You could, but if you're going to do that, you might as well just start with a regular square again, and then make the shine lines like 40 at a 45-degree angle. So you know you would just do like something like we'll line up like that, and then if you want more bold, you do the exact same thing. So yeah, that's how I got to that, and I know I kind of went on a tangent with that, but I really wanted to show you how to make maybe something that would fit right in here, like this. I'm going to I'll put this in my design too, and literally like these are just things that I just threw together here. Okay. Alright, now you got a jewelry case. What other things can I stick in here? You know, these are you know, counters for shops and stuff that I've made. Use some kind of like regular counter. Let's use this one. This one seems to fit. Yeah. I know it kind of seems like I'm making a shop. Well, it's the simplest thing I could really come up with for you guys to check out and follow. I wasn't really too sure of like the topics that I should go into for this video, considering it's not really making anything. It's more like composition work. So if you already have the stuff made, you might want to, you know, it's really just for if you're curious in how I like actually put together these rooms. So depending on what you want for your other door, I mean, say that there is another door in your room, you would take away this back lighting a little. Let's do 2 on each side, 2 on each side, bam. And that gets rid of a section in our lighting, so behind the door, it's not there. There we go. We can brighten up this door a bit too. There we go. I'm gonna change the color of this counter. Just a bit. Let's make this under counter a little orange, so it kind of fits with what we're doing here. Oops. Oh, that's why. My tolerance all the way up. Let's do 2. Okay. Orange it up a bit. Okay. We can put stuff on the counter. I made a whole bunch of like little things. Paper, phone, notepads, ashtrays, I got it all here. We can make this guy a day drinker if we want. All right. This guy definitely has a vice habit. And you just strewn these the way that you want them on the counter. So you have a store there, basically. Well, I don't know if you would call it a store, but here's the thing that makes it a store for me: the little cash register. So we can throw that here. And of course, our paper needs to just erase one. Go. Now you got a kind of a store. You might also find out as you're going through this process that you may want to adjust the size of the room in some way. So usually the best practice for that is to go by one of these sides, not one of the sides that are attached to the wall, because otherwise you'll do a lot more moving than is really necessary. So of course I'm going to move my carpet. I'm going to select my floor, select a part of that. Of course, shift 2 over and 1 up. My entry tiles, my jewelry case that I never grouped. Might want to do that. Let's group one. New group from layers, jewelry case. Okay, just that gets the wall. Now with the wall, of course I'm going to do the same thing I did with the floor. Select a little bit of it and then do 2 over 1 up. Shift 2 over 1 up. And this lighting thing, and do the same thing I just did with the wall. Select it. Then shift 2 over 1 up. There we go. We kind of moved it in and made it a little bit more cozier. We can now, let's put some shelving in here. So let's do, I took actual like vases and stuff that I found on Google, and I shrank them down so much that it becomes pixel art. And then I made shelves with all that stuff on it. There's one for there, and if I want another color variation, here's my other one. Okay, anything else that I want to put in here? Let's think. How about go back to my small stuff again. Dustpan and broom. Why not? Throw that in the corner. Let's group all these, all the counter stuff. Counter with stuff. Okay. I may not want it that close. And you might want to align it to the tiles that you're using, unless you're not using any tiles or unless you don't care. In my case, I don't really care. I'm just going to make it more in than it probably should be, but it's your preference, you know. So what else should I stick in this room, or should I tighten it up a little more? I'm going to tighten it up a little more. I'm not going to add any more, I don't think. So of course, I'm doing this thing again. Two over, one up. Okay. Now, what if we want to have some hanging lights or something like that? Something like a hanging light or something that will kind of illuminate the room a little more. Well, I got a shitload of lights too. We can do a hanging light, or we can do a lamp. We can do a hanging light, I suppose. Oh, it's behind the wall. Hold on. Make sure it's like the top layer in whatever room that you're making. Keep the light orange. And then of course I got a bunch of different blobs that I can use for the light. This is assuming that you've done all this, that you've made all this, of course. Okay, that's a little bright. Probably not the right color, so of course we gotta make it orange. Maybe darken it a bit. And there you have it. There's your room. You can also add some posters on the wall. Where's my posters? Here we go. So I made some art. I took like, here's one I did from, of course, The Matrix and a few movies. I took The Matrix and I did, what's that movie? The pretty girl and the guy's a magazine writer for Cream magazine, but he comes and does it for Rolling Stone, whatever fucking movie. Oh yeah, Almost Famous. So I took Almost Famous and The Matrix and posters and shrank them down and decided to make them pixel art. You're not screwing with anybody's copyright, so I don't think you got to worry about it. Yeesh. Okay. Red wall, let's put it right on the wall layer. Below our lights. Do that with the Matrix poster too. Now you wouldn't know that that's the Matrix poster if I didn't tell you. Let's move the light a little bit. Yeah, really don't like where that Matrix poster is. So let's flip it, move it, and there you have it. You can also put a little sign on the door. If I have a little sign that I can put on the door. Alright, let's do this one. And let's get rid of the top one, because I like bunching mine up a little bit. There you go. You might even want to add, there's a thing I do, and it's in another, let's get rid of this. Let's open up this one. Now, of course, I take from all my other projects sometimes if I don't have them in where I want them, like in the in my catalogs. So, all right, let's get rid of the lighting from here real quick and just pick the messy. That's what I called it. Okay. So there that is, and what this layer is here, I'll show you in a second. All right. what this is just it's probably white, so it's a color burn. Let's do normal. Yeah, see, it's like an off white. So if you want to make like a really messy shop, you can do that. And of course we can move this mess around. And of course I made a color burn. Or, no, I'm so used to doing color dodge, color burn. There we go. And of course we'll use hue and saturation to make it as dark or as light as we want it. There we go. And what other stuff can we throw in here? We can throw in some boxes, maybe, whatever. Move things around. There we go. Put it right at the end of the counter there. What else do we want in here? We can put some trash in the corner if we want. Do that. Plop. Actually, it looks like shit. Also, you know, like I'm kind of pressing it here. Like you know, you can junk things up as much as you want or as little as you want. Here we go. Hand cart. You can throw that in the corner, in front of the poster. There we go. And there it is. There's your room. All right. I think that covers this video. If you have any other questions or anything that I went over here, I'm not going to reference anything in this video because, I'm not going to reference any of my other videos because I think I used a little bit from every video I've made to make this room. So if you're interested, please go check out my channel. If you're new to me and you like this video, please subscribe. I'm always looking for more subscribers. I don't know how to do YouTube monetization because otherwise I'd probably have a lot more subscribers than I usually do, or than I would if I didn't, or whatever I'm saying. All right, that's it. Have a good one, guys.